William Samoei Ruto, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, presidential candidate declared 2022. This morning, I state categorically that is ahead of the pack. If elections were held today, William Ruto will win hands down. His opponents may hate me for that, but it's the truth. William Ruto is setting the pace. If you are in an election for a MCA seat, parliamentary seat, governor, whatever it is, and you find yourself reacting to what your opponent is doing and saying, you know you are doing badly and you lose. So you need to change. Today, Raila Odinga and his brigade are reacting to what Ruto is saying. Ruto came up with a hustler narrative. Everybody has been reacting to it for the longest time today. It took people to show the danger inherent in that narrative, drawing parallels with what happened in Germany in 1933 and other places for the hustler narrative to go down. Today, just to show that Raila and his brigade are reacting to what Ruto is doing as he sets the pace and you don't know what next he'll come up with, Ruto has come up with a bottom-up approach, what people are calling bottoms-up. Again, you can see the reaction. He's setting the trend and the agenda. Never mind that bottom-up is a big joke, is a big lie. It means nothing. It is hot air. I don't even blame Alice Wahome, the eloquent Ishungwa, for failing to explain what it is on TV and making a mess out of the whole thing. Even William Ruto himself cannot explain what bottom-up is. Yet, this non-starter, this big joke of so-called a model, is setting everybody running in circles. It's getting Raila to come up with a reaction. In much the same way I have said, and I hope somebody is telling Raila, if he doesn't have time to listen to Manyora. In 2017, he had everything wrapped, everything put together. It was about theft. The Jubilee administration in place from 2013 had engaged in plunder of hitherto an imagined scale. Excessive borrowing and stealing and plundering the same. Instead of Raila focusing on that, I saw them following Jubilee when Jubilee launched a manifesto. David Ndei, and I hope Ruto is listening, directed Raila and his team in NASA to launch a manifesto. I knew they had lost it. It is just a testimony of how popular Raila is that they were still able, with all those blunders, to get what they got. So today, they are still reacting to the bottom-up thing, even when Ruto himself can't explain. Last time on TV, he tried on the Inoro FM. He tried even rubbishing the factory, the bullet factory of 4 billion, talking about jobs. But a bullet factory is a strategic government installation. It's a strategic industry for the government. It cannot be measured in terms of the 100 people it is employing. The least you can do is to say how much money will the government save if it were buying the bullets, whatever it is, not bullets, small arms. Instead of buying those small arms, what would be happening if we are saving that money? How much are we going to save in 10 years? So you can see even Ruto himself, if you put him to task to explain what the bottom-up is. He can't. He's talking about taking things down to the people. Surely, does it mean Kenyans have such a short memories? How much money has been taken down for over 30, 40 years? I've said this repeatedly. What was the whole thing of district focus for rural development? What is CDF? What's Women Fund? What is Youth Fund? There are all manner of funds on the ground. The cooperative movement, how much money has government put in the cooperative movement? All of these have yielded nothing. How much donor effort went into women groups in the 70s and 80s? How much? Ng'ombe. Today you talk of fertilizer, William Ruto. Governors, I've seen my governor is giving. People sell the same fertilizer. Ask KTDA. Part of the issues of quality is that small-scale farmers of tea, when given fertilizer by the factories, they end up selling the fertilizer. This is a bigger problem than just yapping and talking about bottoms up. And yet, you can see William Ruto is setting the trend. Because even Raila, seasoned as he is, with all his advisors, falls for the trap. So that's why I'm saying Ruto is ahead of the pack. But today I want to see what lessons has Ruto learned from Moi. Lesson number 1. And it is really working for Ruto. These lessons are working for Ruto. Lesson number 1, make friends with the people. When Moi took over, he had already made friends when he was moving around as a vice president. Remember, Kenyatta was not only old, he was a little ailing, especially after the stroke. And all the travel, both overseas and local, Kenyatta left with Moi. And Moi used that opportunity for the 12 or so years he was VP to make friends beyond the big boys. That is something Ruto has learned. Point number 2, similar to that, when Moi came to power, he bypassed the established figures in troublesome areas of Nyanza and Central. So instead of the big names, the Koinanges, the Jenga Karumes, the Mbiu Koinanges and the rest, he went for young blood, and you found people like JJ Kamodo. He built on rivalries between the Embu and the Mbere, the Suba and the Luo. He built on the rivalries between South Nyanza and Central Nyanza. And came up with people, you could see the Kwanyo, people nobody had, Nyakia, people you had never had before. That is the approach Ruto is using. He has learned from Moi. But top on the list of the things Moi has bequeathed Ruto with is the use of money to oil an election. And today, this morning, I share this very sincere message with Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta. Ruto is doing very well because he has known in politics, more so in Kenyan politics, you need money. And he's using that money effectively. He's reaching the people directly using that money. I suspect the side of Uhuru, apart from being mean, the little they give goes away with the brokers. And that's the embarrassment you are getting in places like Juja, Kiamba and the rest. You are mean, the Uhuru Kenyatta Raila faction or group, and the little you give to brokers. Political brokers. Ruto avoids that. So Ruto has learned many lessons from Moi. Let me flip over so that Ruto does also not just sit on his laurels. He does not lie pretty saying he's going to win. What has Ruto learned from Moi and from history? Lesson number 1 from Moi, which Ruto has failed. Lie low. Lie low. Lie low. I have said it repeatedly. The reason why Ruto may not become president, some people will dare say will not become president, is his direct confrontation with Uhuru Kenyatta. Is starting the game way too early. I heard Gideon Moi say, Ruto is dancing himself lame wakati guitar wanaweka tune to tuning na Ruto ana dance. That was Gideon Moi somewhere in Nyanza. It is true. When the dance starts, this is the lesson Ruto I thought would have learned from Moi. And I've said it repeatedly. Moi kept low, looked like a fool. Stories are told, most of them may not even be true, of even people slapping him, or being blocked, or being ridiculed. It happens because the vice president is a vice president. The deputy president is a deputy president. In the initial years of the U.S. democracy, when it started, there were this all manner of frictions between president and deputy president. So it's not unusual. And in the U.S. history, almost apart from Dick Cheney, the other vice presidents are always so low that you wouldn't even know they exist. So the lesson Ruto has not picked from Moi which will be his Achilles' heels, is a lesson of not learning that confronting your boss while he's still in office is suicide, starting too early, showing your head, raising your head, showing your ability. In fact, the most famed law among the laws of 48 laws of power is don't show your head early. Don't show your abilities. This is where Ruto is failing. But overall, he is a good student of politics. And finally, what he has failed to learn from history, as he bangs on the masses, lesson number one about the crowds. The crowd is the most unreliable in politics. Most unreliable. That's why the handshake team may succeed in the end, because they are not relying on the crowd. They are relying on the kingpins. I have given this example, which I end with. When the great general Julius Caesar was assassinated by senators and other notables in Rome, ostensibly because he wanted to turn Rome into an empire, and these guys had their fair share of kings, and they didn't like it, and they had walked out of it, and they were determined never to go back. And Caesar was showing signs of wanting to take them back, especially after crossing the Rubicon. And then he was assassinated. The people who assassinated them, top among them Brutus, who was Caesar's friend, gave a talk to the crowd. And he told the crowd, and I've said this repeatedly, the crowd was so charged, they wanted to know how you could kill Caesar. But he cooled them down, and they were with the crowd. The crowd were with him, was with him. He told them, we have not killed Caesar because we hate him. We loved Caesar, but we loved our country more. I killed Caesar, not because I didn't love him. I loved Rome more. That is Brutus' magnificent speech. In fact, had he not allowed Mark Antony to give his eulogy, had he not allowed, the crowd would have linked people like Mark Antony and the rest associated with Caesar. But that was the blunder they made. The same crowd, after Mark Antony speaks to them, tells them, this is the man this guy's killed. He removed his will and tells them, this is the man they killed. This is the man who loved you. This is just how much he loved you. The same crowd turns. And these people who the assassins, the people, Cassius, and Brutus, they had to run for their life. Number of them were lynched. What I'm trying to say is, this morning, the crowd for you, William Samoei Ruto, may be a safe place to go, but they are very unreliable. If you had ended at the new leaders you have created and use them to penetrate, I'll give you a big chance. Today, this morning, I don't give you much chance because of your over-reliance on the crowd, which is never, ever reliable.